Ohio State defensive end Nick Bosa, recovering from a core muscle surgery, has opted to leave Ohio State to rehab and prepare for the draft. Here's his coach, Urban Meyer.
It's very emotional. We love Nick. The Bosa family's been obviously awesome for Ohio State in the program. And Nick is a first-class guy.
Were you surprised at all that was ultimately his choice to not come back?
I was hopeful, like all of us were, but I can't say I was that surprised.
And here you see where Nick Bosa stands in the eyes of many. He's a junior, and he is currently the top player on Mel Kiper's big board. Assuming he is healthy, he is clearly going to be a very high pick in the upcoming NFL draft. And so our football sort of roundtable continues here. And Mr. Finebaum has joined us this morning. Paul, I'll give you the first word on this. What do you make of the decision Nick Bosa made yesterday?
He made the right call. First of all, we don't know when he would be back. Most people don't think he would be back for the Michigan game, so that moves it to either the Big Ten championship game or the playoffs. And considering the amount of money is at stake, I think he would be taking a terrific risk. No one can question his loyalty to this school, his family, his royalty in Columbus. So I think this is not only the right move, but I think it's a harbinger of things to come in the future.
Now that's interesting. I want to hold that thought for a moment because, D. Wood, I want to give you a chance to tell a story. We were talking yesterday. You were telling me that you had an experience in college that very much influences the way you view this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, my junior year, I was in a situation where I knew I was highly ranked, and I kind of knew that I was coming out, and my coach really, to put it lightly, was really disparaging as far as opposing why I should come out, and just a little backdrop. My fiance, we were having our first child, so for me it was I needed to take care of my family in this particular situation. So fast forward, I go to the draft. I'm the first center in over a decade in the first round, and win a Super Bowl in New England. And all of a sudden, that same coach who was disparaging me was calling me like, "Hey, like we buddy." I'm like, "What's this joker doing? You the same guy trashed me to coaches and scouts and stuff. And now you want me to come back to the school." Which is crazy.
It makes the point that I tried to make yesterday on social, and that is Nick Bosa is the only person for whom Nick Bosa is the #1 priority in college football. If he doesn't look out for himself, no one's going to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what I got from Damian's story is, aside from, you were a really great football player in college, not all, in the NFL.
I was. I mean, that's just being real.
Aside from that, there are a lot of players who aren't that good, and a lot of players who go through this situation where it does not turn out for them in the same way that it did for you. And I think what Nick Bosa is doing is right, in part because he avoids having that being a terrible story. Like we saw it with Earl Thomas, and I think this all ties into professionalizing sports. And if you keep up with the FBI investigation of the NCAA, like it's professional sports. So don't be upset when the players behave like professionals.
Two other things I want to get here quickly. Paul, you mentioned you think this is the first of what we will see as a trend. Players have been skipping bowl games for a while, but those are basically meaningless exhibitions that come after the season. This is a team that could play for a championship. You think we will see more of this?
No doubt. And it's interesting because a couple of years ago, Ohio State ended up winning the national championship because the quarterback got hurt. I'm not suggesting that. This is you can make anything out of this you want. He's the best player on the team, but a lot of players are watching this very closely. And like Damian said, they're about themselves. I mean, let's just knock off this fight for old Notre Dame. I mean, that's yesteryear. You go to college so you can get to the next level. You don't go there to learn about American history. You can do that after you get out of the NFL.
And one quick thing I want to add, I want to bring up Jalen Smith. Remember Jalen Smith?
Yeah.
When he had the catastrophic knee injury.
Sure. Yeah. Lattimore.
Think about all the money he lost just off of that. Now it looks like he's come all the way back. But I think that's like a prime example of what these guys are doing.
He'll never get it all back because he would have been a high first-round pick and he was drafted later in the draft.
I want to take it one step further to what happens when players have a great sophomore season and then choose, why would I go back? Like that, now injury is a convenient excuse. I would encourage players who are playing well and have solidified themselves as top picks, take a year off, take a year to train, do whatever it is you have to do. There is no point in taking that risk on your body.
We had that conversation, I remember, with Jadeveon Clowney before his final season. Can I take devil's advocate here? I am on the same side as this. But how about those who will say he has an obligation to his teammates? Maybe not to the university, but this is a whole bunch of guys, some of whom may have chosen to come back to play with him. They have a chance to win a championship this year. Does he have an obligation to the guys on his team? Anyone?
He's given the guy behind him a chance to play. That's a favor.
Yeah, but he's the best player on the team and the best
Greeny,
player
unlike
in the country.
Clowney, who just decided, I'm not playing today because I don't feel good, and his coach, Steve Spurrier, let him get away with it. We don't know whether this guy could come back or not. It's a serious injury, and there's no way he would be back before December anyway. So this is not like I'm taking the week off.
I think he is fulfilling his obligation because clearly he's not mentally there. He's already mentally in the NFL. Your obligation at that point is to remove yourself from the situation. Going in, like you said, with Clowney and kind of halfway playing for the entire season is much worse offense to me.
His teammates will likely say the right things. Will any of them resent him for this?
No, because I think if you talk to most guys, like, go get your money.
Get that money. Just come back and take them out to dinner.
And Greeny, the coaches set the example. They can recruit these guys, and then they bail, and the young guys are watching that, and they're going, why do I have to have loyalty if the coach won't have loyalty?